Hey y'all, we are live with the K Hive and we are back. We're in general election mode, as you can see by two of us with Biden Harris t shirts. Sydney has a vote shirt on. Drew is representing for his Aggies.
I didn't get the memo for the vote stuff, y'all. My fault.
It wasn't coordinated. It wasn't coordinated.
We just kind of it just kind of happened. But normally you always be wearing Kamala gear, so I'm just surprised that you do. I'm so disappointed.
That's true,
Man, look,
Drew.
I'm moving in tomorrow. Listen, it's about to be a big, heavy move-in day. So,
And my
you
gear,
got a full suitcase full of Kamala gear.
I do.
and my gear was provided by none the other than, I should say, Akira Chicago. Y'all know I keep it motherfucking loco, okay? And tonight we got a whole Chicago segment coming from me. We're gonna be talking about some really dope stuff. But shout out to Akira Chicago. I know that they are potentially tuning in. And shout out to their location in Orland Square Mall. They hooked me up today, and I hope that we're able to collaborate on something very soon for the voters. So yeah, come on through, Chicago, Midwest in the building. Ow. Hey, keep it local.
So what's up, K Hive? Since we're all back in here, and I know I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back with the jump off. So I just want to say, hey y'all, it's been a minute, and we missed last week. We needed a week or two to kind of recuperate. You know, sometimes we need some rest sometimes too. So
it's been a long time. We're all, for the most part, I don't know. If I can recall correctly, A1 day one Kamala people. So it's been a very, very, very long journey, and we're not done yet. So yeah, it was nice to have a break. I could have used a longer break, but duty calls. And so yeah, shout out though to Joni V. She sent me this shirt. Now listen, I'm not soliciting t-shirts, buttons, bumper stickers. I'm not soliciting nothing, but I do appreciate Joni for sending me this customized. I'm not mad at the Harris being very prominent here. It's Biden and Harris. So shout out to Joni. Shout out to
Kamala. The earrings to the T though.
I should have probably worn yellow because I have some yellow earrings, but
we love the pink though. The pink hoops are your thing. That's your thing, girl.
Yes. And Kenny, I love the flag. So that's official Biden Harris gear, right? Or no? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's so great.
It's cute. I gotta rep the LGBTQ.
Right. MD Turf, where'd you get the hoodie? So you got that from Joe Biden, right?
You go the website. But some people ain't getting their stuff apparently on time. But I just want y'all to know it's okay. It happens. I remember when that little girl was me happened. I didn't get my shirt for 2 months, and I ordered it that same night. So it just depends on where you at. Now, you in the right zip code, you ain't getting it on time.
I'm waiting for I ordered a Kamala shirt. They released all this Kamala gear on the Biden website. So I ordered like a Kamala shirt, and like I ordered a bunch of whatever it was. I ordered all the stuff they had on there, and I ain't got it yet. But that's fine. They're gonna get it to us when they get it to us.
I get all my gear on bootleg. Y'all know me. I get that exclusive. Nah, I got too many Kamala shirts, man. I gotta calm down. I can almost build a shrine. It's scary.
I saw on Mina that they have a whole like a swimsuit. Kamala, yeah, I'm dead serious. You'd be surprised what you'll find. The gear is outrageous. But okay. For the new people, because I've been seeing a lot of people coming into the K Hive. A lot of people don't know who we are, so let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Y'all don't know, my name is Kenny. I'm Too Raw, Too Real on Twitter, so make sure you follow me that on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All of it is now all the same name, Too Raw, Too Real.
Yes.
And Drew.
And y'all know me. If you don't, you're gonna get to know me. I'm Drew Comments, you know what I'm saying? Better known, used to be known as SJS, aka that dude, BKA, don't mess with your boy. I'm just joking. I have my classic Five Guys. I had the wonderful cheeseburger fries. It was lettuce, tomatoes, ketchup, regular Five Guys style fries, and the large raspberry iced tea. That's what I do usually. That's $18 you spend in your life. Good God.
It's so expensive. I just had Five Guys yesterday. Spent $30 for two people. Like, oh damn.
There you go.
And I didn't have the drink, and it was still $30.
But the fries are.
I don't like the fries. I don't like the fries. No, I don't.
What? Wait, hold. You don't like Five Guys?
I don't like Five Guys fries. It's okay. This is not that great. I like it's rallies in California and other states. It's called.
Oh no, you like Checkers and stuff.
Checkers fries is good.
Checkers, let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of
all the baddies love Checkers. Hello, according to Miss Sukiana. Okay.
Hey y'all, I'm Reese. I am chilling, kind of trying to find my zen. That's why I have this. I'm not promoting it, but I was sent this bottle with these crystals, and allegedly you can manifest, good things if you meditate on it. So I've been doing that, and it's been working pretty well. So shout out to one of my besties who sent. It was a Christmas gift. So that's what I'm doing. I'm drinking positive manifestation water.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to survive this pandemic the best way I can. And alcohol is not doing it. I'm trying the manifestation water. Somebody says, put it into the universe, Queen. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put it into these crystals.
Okay.
That's a pretty crystal. It's purple, right? I like that.
It's very pretty. And I don't know if you guys saw Teyana Taylor had her baby, and Erykah Badu just made this really beautiful video about how she's the welcoming committee, and she had the crystals on the t-shirts. Y'all didn't see that?
No.
Y'all missed out. It was very beautiful. So I said, let me pull out my crystal water bottle and manifest some stuff. Get my attitude together.
Yes.
I was about to say that's the most bougie looking old fashioned I've ever seen in my life, but it's crystal water. So here we go.
It's crystal, yeah. Yeah. It's not boutique ice. It's crystal.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this topic, y'all. So in today's Kamala news, I don't know if you guys know, but Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have already introduced their student loan relief / free college plan. So if all families or households that are making less than $125,000 a year, you guys will get free tuition, and that's to any public, private, or HBCU university. So it doesn't necessarily matter. So I don't want to hear about tangibles anymore. I want to hear about, they're not going to wipe out our student loan debt. What about us? Well, if you're not making $125,000 a year per your household, then you're going to be able to qualify. And that's 75% of the nation, according to 2018's tax. So I ain't got 2019, but according to 2018, 75% qualify. And majority going to be Black and brown people. So that's get it to the people who deserve it. People like me, okay? I want to go to school for free. But so our first topic we're going to talk about is going to be voter suppression. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Reese.
Actually, Drew, why don't you go on and kick us off? Because one of my favorite aspects of voter suppression to actually educate people about is the disinformation and misinformation and how that plays into voter suppression. So Drew, you kick it off and then I'll take it over.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to talk about this. So what you have noticed, or if you haven't noticed, you've been asleep, but is that the uptick in disinformation and almost like a campaign to get people, especially people who look like us, away from the polls, keep it away. They don't care about you, what you're going to get, what's the tangibles, cut the check, blah, blah, blah. And really the whole goal behind this is to make sure that you don't show up, excuse me. The motivation behind this is because of the efforts of K-Hive as a whole, different segments within the K-Hive, live with the K-Hive, and then just the sharing of information, what we put out, you're actually seeing maybe a little bit less of of the attacks on Kamala Harris, the fake information on her record and such. And it looks like the tactics are changing now and just saying, well, every time you mention Kamala Harris, it's about 400 people jumping on your ass. Like whether it's a Facebook post, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, y'all everywhere. Please keep up the good work when you see that. And it's to the point now it's falling on the ears of people who are very influential. They're like, wait a minute, what have I heard and such? And it's got there. So everybody keep that up. However, so now we've seen the tactics change a little bit, and we're seeing disinformation. We're seeing fake profiles popping up, as a matter of fact, pretending to be Black. They have a Black face. However, these are not actual Black people. It even got to the point where my man Plies, who I need to just shout out real quick for being a rapper who decides just to be informed. It's an educated brother, and it's clearly evident there. But you can understand that, number one, that there is a campaign for these ghost or shadow accounts posing as Black people. As a matter of fact, back in August, Facebook actually had to eliminate or took down 30 accounts, or more than 30 accounts, pretending to represent African-American support for President Donald Trump. And they also, they were pushing out, there's a farm, pro-Trump troll farm, it's called Romania. And it uses names like Black people vote for Trump, we love our president, so on and so forth, things of that nature. Yeah, I know, right? That's the face I'll be making when I be reading these comments. And it's so almost believable to the fact they'll actually take, like, it's not just one picture, it'll be like a whole gallery of stuff and moving forward. So you can actually, it looks like it's a genuine person saying that. And people actually tend to try to, people can be influenced by this information. But Facebook also removed more than 300 other fake accounts linked to conservative. There's a conservative media outlet, the Epoch Times, as a matter of fact, and they were peddling pro-Trump conspiracy theories about COVID-19, anti-racism protests, and such. And so this is what you're up against now. It's not even real folk no more. There are obviously real people who will read this and be influenced. And listen, if you are not aware of civics, it can be very convincing. And even, you can actually be swayed by some of this information you're getting, especially it becomes dangerous when you are somebody with a large platform, or you're somebody who is generally Black, grown up Black in this, and you have, now frustrations, and you intend to ask questions like, well, what we gonna get? Why you vote? What we voting for? Huh? What's in it for us? Never mind the fact there's an entire section called Lift Every Voice on JoeBiden.com. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there, is that when you're seeing things like that, first off, don't spend too much energy on that, number one. Just be aware of it. I got the videos, post the thing, and then block, move on. But yeah, that's what's happening now. It's not Kamala's a cop anymore. It's man, don't show up at all. So yeah. And Reese, I know you had a little bit more mentioning that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you said is so true. And I think the most important thing to understand about disinformation and misinformation is it's not just about suppressing the vote in terms of suppressing people from wanting to vote for a particular candidate, but it's also about demoralizing people who are supporters of these candidates, particularly of Kamala Harris and sorry, let me just, the trolls are back. So let me just go ahead. They're going to create multiple pages to come in here. If I have moderators on Twitter, please go ahead. I'm going to make some more of y'all moderators and take care of these chaos agents as we're speaking about them. They are in the comments on Twitter.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, right. They show up.
See, you manifested them over to you.
Well, this is how this works. This is how this works. So I just hope that you guys, I made several more of you guys moderators on YouTube. But this is how it works. It wants to get you off track. It wants to demoralize you. You see people make comments. Oh, well, all these people don't like this person, and then they get, all discouraged. So, understand, even if you don't believe the words that are coming out of these, in these tweets, make sure you're not being impacted in terms of your morale about the campaign. Because the fact of the matter is, by every empirical, all empirical evidence, Biden-Harris is a winning ticket. We are winning, but we have to convert voter preferences into actual votes and ballots cast. That is the trick. We don't have a persuasion challenge in terms of, well, we only have 30% of the people that want Biden-Harris, and we got to get to 50. No, we have 55+%, but we got to make those people, we got to get those people to vote. So that's the only one thing I'll add, is just don't buy into what they're trying to do, which is to demoralize you and to discourage you from continuing to reach out to people. But anyway, there's also another issue, which is the actual voter suppression campaign that's happening in terms of, we have the United States Postal Service that now that that's come to light, there's a lot more spotlight being on that. And I think they're kind of trying to back off of that because they're just busted so much. And I don't know if you guys saw Donald Trump threw DeJoy under the bus and said, well, if he's doing something, he needs to go. And so I think that, we are going to see a little bit less of an impact from that, but that's still something to be cognizant of. Just today in Florida, there was a ruling by the 11th Circuit Court, which is stacked with judges from Trump, that Trump appointed, that actually determined that the felons who got their rights to vote restored, in order to actually vote, they have to pay off the fines to the state in order for them to vote. So that's a poll tax, and that had been shut down in previous courts, but they were able to shop around and find the right district court, which is a Trump majority court, and get that ruling in there. So there are 32 lawsuits I saw on I forget which website. I was just looking at it. Maybe the Brennan Center is tracking it, but 32 lawsuits regarding voting across the country right now. And so it's really important to stay aware of what's happening in terms of these lawsuits, and particularly in your state. It's important to stay on top of the deadlines. It's important to verify your registration. I think it was in Georgia recently was confirmed that 250,000 voters were purged from the voter rolls that should not have been. And so that's why it's very important to verify your registration. It's very important to register if you're not registered. Nothing wrong with that, except for now you got to get registered. And almost everything is digital for every state now. Also, request your absentee ballot if that's what you want to do. In North Carolina, I know, Kenny, you're from North Carolina. The absentee ballots have already gone out. Not everybody has received them yet, but they're already sending them out. There are multiple states where they're going to be sending them out. Also, we have early voting, in-person voting that's starting in September in many states. A lot of the early voting has extended time periods. Texas is, for instance, a place where they do not have no excuse absentee ballots, but they have extended the early voting to start on October 13th. So it's October 13th through October 30th, where they're allowing early in-person voting. So my birthday is October 14th. I would love it if people voted. If you have early voting, that's an option. Or if you have your absentee ballot, if you haven't voted by October 14th, then vote on that day and vote for Biden-Harris. That's gonna be my birthday present, okay? Wow. But yeah, so I just want you guys to understand the different options that are there. Then you also have, of course, election day voting. But if you can vote early, if you can absentee vote, then what you can do is what Kenny can tell us a little bit about what he plans to do, which is to actually volunteer on election day. You have people who can work the polls on election day, which means be an official poll worker. There are people who can be election judges, that they're called different things in different areas. Or you could be somebody who's volunteering to hand out masks and hand sanitizer and chairs and drive people to the polls. There's so many ways of getting involved, but we have to, unfortunately, because we have a government that is, in terms of the federal response, that is hell-bent, and in a lot of these places we have Republican governors that are hell-bent on suppressing the vote. We literally have to have a plan. And the last thing I'll say is that if you do plan on actually two more things. One thing, if you do plan on absentee voting, please, number one, understand how to fill out your ballot. It's very, very, very important that you properly fill out your ballot, because what you don't want is to rush through it, not follow the directions, and then your ballot gets thrown out. In many cases, you're allowed to fix errors within your ballot if you're notified in time, but don't take the chance. You have to make sure you fill out your ballot properly. If you need a witness, make sure you understand the rules. Do you have to have a witness? In some cases, extreme cases, and very rare, you have to have a notary. Make sure that if, everything is, you cross all your T's, dot your I's. And the last thing I'll say is make sure you vote down ballot as well. It's not enough to just vote at the top of the ticket. You need to vote for every single office that is on that ballot, because we don't just need a Biden-Harris administration. We need a Chuck Schumer, I'm assuming, will be the Senate Majority Leader, but we need a Democratic majority in the Congress, the House, and in the Senate. We need more Democratic governors and lieutenant governors. We need Democratic mayors. We need Democratic people across the board. There are a record number of Black women that are running for Congress as well. So we gotta vote. We gotta vote up and down the ballot. We just have no other choice.
I want to chime in real quick.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing. Also, we need Democratic sheriffs. We need Democratic district attorneys as well. Folk in your best interest, okay? Just to make sure that folk that look like us aren't unfairly being persecuted by a legal system that was never designed to protect you in the first place. So make sure that we put in the right people in these places of power. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead.
Oh, and one more thing. Somebody mentioned it in the comments. Don't wear, election.
Yeah, you're not allowed to wear any of this gear. We were talking about that earlier, child.
Okay.
If you're gonna wear it, you have to have a shirt or a jacket, zip it up. You're gonna have to hide it. Apparently, I don't know. Somebody said we might be able to get away with Converse.
Everybody wear Converse.
Everybody
with Converse. So that way we all, we got that unspoken word. Like, I know who you
word
up. Yeah, I got one in the bag. If everybody's wearing Converse, we know we won. We won this polling station. That's our exit poll strategy.
Right. Oh, and one more thing, sorry, I wanted to mention too. Also understand voter ID requirements. If you are voting in person, if you're first time voting or whatever the situation may be, make sure that you understand your voter ID requirements. There is no one size fits. There's no one set of rules that applies across all counties. We are completely loosely organized elections, local elections. So please go to your local elections websites. Vote.org is an excellent starting point, but go to your specific county or however whichever level it is at your state, and find out the information for there. Make sure you have the right signatures. Don't send your ballots to people you don't know, who could tamper with your ballot. Understand if you can drop it off at designated ballot boxes. Don't just take people's word for stuff either, because there might be somebody that says, oh yeah, you can drop it off here, and they could be doing something with your ballot. So all I'm saying is do your due diligence. It might sound like this is asking a lot, but it's probably at the most 30 minutes worth of work. There's so many local voting, voter information drives that are happening. Sign up for one of them if you need help. Or contact the campaign. I'm sure there are people that are on the campaign that can help walk you through the different requirements in your organization, in your area, or you can contact a nonpartisan organization that handles these things.
She's absolutely right. But here's the other thing too. There really is no excuse to say that I don't know if I'm registered to vote. Like literally, you're on social media right now watching us. I can't even get on Instagram or Facebook without them saying register to vote. So there's no excuse at this point. And speaking of what Rita said earlier about volunteering, trust me, they over here. I don't know what they're doing over there, but I know in North Carolina it's like $20 an hour if you work the polls, child. So guess what I'm gonna be doing? But so that's gonna be more than what you got to get this bag, got to get this coin, okay? But let's go ahead and get to the next topic, y'all. Sydney, I'm going ahead and put it on to you. Justice and policing. You have something amazing to talk about, and you want to basically go ahead and break it down for us. Go ahead.
All right, thank you so much, Kenny. And yeah, guys, as everybody's been saying, it's time. Y'all know I got it on my shirt again. Shout out to Akira Chicago. I'm over here with my tongue tied. But again, it is important that you guys, make sure you're registered to vote, understand what's going on with your ballot. And tonight, we're going to talk about some tangibles. We're going to talk about, what a Biden-Harris administration looks like in the future. I know we've been touching on this topic for a while, But I think it was, I thought it was important because I was seeing some information on social media about, questioning, an agenda specifically for Black Americans as it pertains to the Biden-Harris campaign. And I know that a huge proponent of any agenda for Black America has to include, criminal justice reform. We've seen this with the Black Lives Matter movement this year, and what we also saw were Black professional entertainers coming together this year to in protest of what has been occurring across the country. And that is what I wanted to speak of tonight. In the case of what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with Jacob Blake, we saw the Milwaukee Bucks NBA team stand in protest against the excessive force used on Jacob Blake from Kenosha police. And tonight, what I wanted to discuss was the case of Milwaukee Bucks shooting guard Sterling Brown. Sterling Brown, for those of you who are not aware, is a third-year member of the Milwaukee Bucks team. He is a Maywood, Illinois native, so the Mayhem out of Maywood. He is also Shannon Brown's younger brother. For those who don't know, Shannon Brown is a two-time NBA champion, and these two young men have come together to start a foundation that was founded after Sterling Brown was illegally searched and tased in 2018 with a run-in with the Milwaukee Police Department. So long story short, there's body cam footage on YouTube if you guys are interested in taking a look. I won't retweet any links of that. I don't think it's necessary to speak of, but the footage is very traumatic. And Sterling Brown was essentially tased. His vehicle was illegally searched, and he was brought to the ground and essentially abused by 6 Milwaukee police officers over a parking violation. Yes, you did hear that correctly. The cause for his unlawful arrest was double parking in a handicapped parking spot in an empty Walgreens parking lot at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I know that for some people that's a bit jarring, because we do know that parking in a handicapped spot can definitely cause a lot of issues for our disabled community. And I know that was a very emotional topic for some. But the fact of the matter is that for those cases, we have protocol, and that protocol requires a citation, and simply nothing more. And what happened to Sterling Brown was absolutely apprehensible. There was nothing that justified what happened to him. The police department has since apologized. They have dropped the charges, and Sterling Brown is still fighting this case. The city of Milwaukee offered him a $400,000 settlement. He decided to turn it down, and he is still taking this to court. The reason that I wanted to bring this conversation up is because this is something that happened in 2018. And as I was taking a look at the footage, the one thing that I noticed was that there was an absolute racial component here with these police officers. They were found to have been making fun of him. They were mocking his voice. They were mocking his status. And as they took him down, one of the police officers stepped on his ankle during the time, and they said it themselves. Oh, you're a player for some team, aren't you? You do this. So they were found on social media to have been mocking him, and I don't believe that they were really reprimanded at all. I believe one of them got fired, and everyone else was given a paid vacation. And Milwaukee PD has essentially said, it's out of our hands. They've switched, I guess they've switched like their main sergeant or their main boss, and now they're starting this narrative that this whole conversation is unfair to them, and because it didn't happen under their watch, it didn't happen under their arms. And my response to that is that this is an injustice that has not been answered yet. It doesn't matter if there is a new person in control. It doesn't matter. These people are still on the force, and essentially that is what the Justice and Policing Act is set to essentially, defend us against. It's set to stop this kind of behavior from, police departments. It's giving us a standard, a federal standard for policing across the board. That means that, these municipalities cannot create their own rules. That means that, qualified immunity is going out of the door. And that means real consequences for these types of interactions with with the people that they serve. Otherwise, their funding essentially will be on the line. And for me, that is a tangible, and that is exactly the kind of bill that Sterling Brown and those like him deserve. Sterling Brown does not deserve to have his case dragged out for 2 years. He does not deserve the lack of response that he has since had, that he is still getting, from a city that, he is playing in. This is a city that he has dedicated his, his talents to bring them, a championship. They just, they were competing in the bubble this year, and they went off to the playoffs. And Sterling Brown was a big part of that. And I think that, this is a lesson for officials of, that city, that, these entertainers, don't owe you, their time. And for those entertainers who are coming out and saying, well, what is Biden Harris going to do for Black people? Well, here's your answer. Here is your answer right here. This is what we can see week one, day one from this administration. This bill is on the table. That means that within a month, Sterling Brown is going to get an answer once this bill is passed. That means that there is going to be something done to these police officers that are still on the force. Okay, this is a young man who plays for an NBA team. He is a professional athlete who was apprehended and taken down like an animal by Milwaukee PD. Okay, for all practical purposes, that is exactly what happened there on camera. It is infuriating. And Biden Harris has an immediate answer. And if you compare that to what Donald Trump and Mike Pence are doing, the answer is absolutely written there for you. It's a no-brainer. It's a non-starter. Donald Trump and Mike Pence are not going to answer for these specific crimes. They don't have the lens. They don't have the cultural competency. And quite frankly, they don't want to deal with this for people that don't look like them. And we need people in the White House that have the lens, that can pay attention to this kind of detail so that these things don't happen. And the reason that I wanted to discuss this tonight was because I want people to understand that if it could happen to Sterling, it could happen to any of us. This isn't just about Jacob Blake. This isn't just about Breonna Taylor. Okay, this isn't about class. This isn't about, Sterling Brown is a multimillionaire. Okay, he signed a multi-million-dollar contract with the city of Milwaukee, and he was still tased over a parking ticket. That has nothing to do with his class status. He was driving a Mercedes-Benz when they pulled him over, and they looked at those Illinois plates and they said, "Are you selling drugs?" That has nothing to do with his class status. And I want to reiterate that, because that is something that both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris understand from a very, very detailed lens. They understand that from a high level, and they are bringing the answers to the table, and they're passing the bills. It's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to put that into action. And that is what Biden Harris is doing. They are actionable. They have action items on their desk day one. And that is why it's important for us to rally up behind this ticket, and why it's important for us to turn out, because in Trump's America, not only is Sterling Brown not safe, but neither are any of us.
No, not at all. That you just do, Lord. You just spoke the gospel.
Yo, he was driving a really nice car too. Like, I got a nice car. I'm not even gonna front, but no cap. Like, his car really nice, like really nice. So if they did that to him, I ain't got no shot in him. I'm saying that right now.
I mean, they literally asked him. They were like, when I was reviewing the body cam footage, I could hear one of the guys talking about, "Oh, are you a bullshit player?" Because they saw his Illinois ID, and of course, there's a lot of beef. I don't care for Wisconsin or whatever they're. I'm not a cheesehead, so I was already like, oh, so y'all dissing the Bulls? Like, that's how y'all feel? Okay. But then, it got real personal when they started taking the boy down on the ground. I'm like, really? Like, this is how y'all gonna act over a parking ticket. And you could just hear the contempt in their voices. And again, we cannot expect these people to show up on our behalf. We need to show up on our behalf. And that is what Kamala Harris is doing. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this, because she has a history, she has a resume of doing this on multiple fronts. It's not just criminal justice, it's maternal mortality, it's passing the CARES Act, it's, you know, it's uplifting the community, it's, you know, it's providing aid to, you know, students whose families make less than $125,000 a year. That is a tangible. That when we talk about the work, when we talk about agendas, that is what we're talking about. So when I hear entertainers, you know, we won't go into detail about what's going on the timeline, but when I hear people in my industry talking about what can I get from this? What have you done for me lately? I want them to remember that nothing will protect them from being Black in America. If you are a Black entertainer, your money doesn't protect you. Your status doesn't protect you, because it didn't protect Sterling Brown.
Well, I know it was protecting those cops, and that's that qualified immunity. Because if you actually look at the video, they were making every effort to escalate that particular situation. Absolutely. If you were double parked in there at that time of night, that's the simple. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Like, I can see you saying, you know what I'm saying? I can see you saying, sir, come on, man, give us a break. It's on fire, ran right in there. You go, all right, well, look, just hurry it up. It should have been that. That should have been it. Obviously, you know, you're a cop. You got to say something. I understand that, but you don't have to escalate to that point. Just be like, come on, dog. Just help me out. You know, just
go. You know what I'm saying? If you have to do a citation, just do it. There was no reason for 5 other cops to show up. There was no reason for them to call back up.
That's it. But qualified immunity.
Wrong, in my opinion.
Qualified immunity is what they felt. You feel invincible in that situation. Instead of just being professional, being like, hey, just hurry it up, bro. That's it. That's all it was.
And they knew they were protected, because they went back to their social medias and they were mocking him like, oh, we just took down a Bucks player. And, you know, and they throughout the whole thing, they're like, yeah, this is on camera, but I own this. And, you know, Sterling's response was, well, you don't own me. And this is literally how police talk to Black people, talk to us like they own us, like they can own our moves. And, you know, we're supposed to bow down to them no matter what. And that is why I said, you know, this is not a class issue, because there is no class of white Americans that are ever talked to in that manner by police officers that in my knowledge that I know of. Now that could be a different story, but the fact of the matter is that this is an occurrence that happens to everyone. Even Barack Obama can speak to it. Okay, even our beloved Barack Obama can speak to being harassed by police in this country. And, you know, and Biden and, you know, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have answers to that. And they're looking to make, you know, really, really significant, tangible changes on day one. And that is why it is imperative that we get out and we turn out and we vote for this ticket.
Thank you. The only thing I can say to kind of end that up is, if you guys have Black Lives Matter in your bio, you're going to need to vote like Black Lives Matter.
Okay. You're going to have to vote for... You're going to have to vote, shawty, period.
Speaking of, you know, racial biases, I wanted to talk about Kamala Harris having this meeting in the 305, you know, I ain't going to, you know, city girl. So she showed up in Miami and she came out to a band, which was actually new, by the way, which I didn't even know. This was literally their first time actually performing. They're literally a brand new band and stuff like that. A lot of those students were actually not necessarily too much wanting to go to college, but because of having, you know, Black teachers and stuff like that, pretty much encouraged them to actually want to go. So, you know, shout out to them. But what I wanted to talk about when it comes to racial disparities, I want to talk about the PPP. So what basically is going on, Eric Knowles, the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce president, he was pretty much talking with Kamala Harris about how so many Black businesses were left out of the loan situation. And the reason why is because of, let's just be honest, it has something to do with racial bias. A lot of these policies, a lot of these things were literally meant to leave us out. One thing that left us out, and which is really important that I didn't even necessarily know, what Eric Knowles wanted to call for is he wanted to move the 5-year look back to actually 1 year. So let's say if you were formerly incarcerated and you have a business, you were automatically left out because you had a charge on your record. So you don't qualify for anything. And the other problem is a lot of these businesses, like mom and pop shops, they lack the information to fill out the forms in order to qualify for these loans. let's say if you didn't have a vendor, let's say if you were, you know, working your hair salon and stuff like that, if you don't have a vendor and you're buying locally, or if some people are supplying some of the stuff for you to actually run your business, you don't qualify. And that's where the problems lie. And one thing I really loved about it, and I encourage everybody to go back and watch their full interview, I love how they were actually talking of substance, actually bringing up what they actually can do. And what Kamala Harris wanted to do, she wanted to talk about her racial disparities task force. She talked about that policy. She talked about how she wanted, how her and Joe Biden have a particular bill to invest $150 million into community development financial institutions. So that's something substantive that they're offering for the table for us and for Black businesses. So when people are talking about tangibles, like what you said, Cindy, they have it. We have the policies. The only problem is you guys aren't looking this up, which brings me to my next point. A lot of you say, you know, what do they have? What have you looked up is the other question. It takes literally 2 minutes to go to the website. This is actually the onus is on us. You know, this is our constitutional obligation to actually be informed and actually be involved, because we're the ones who are going to be disproportionately hurt if we don't. We have to be more involved in the things that we're doing. We can't just run off of what other people are saying. We actually have to do the research for ourselves. But that's all I had to say about that. Anybody want to jump in?
That was such a Forrest Gump way to end that. And that's all I had to say about it. But that's it.
I have to say.
So I'll just say this here. And I'm going to speak specifically to Lift Every Voice. Obviously, there's a number of different policies. This is a very extremely detailed piece of literature on JoeBiden.com, which is like BidenHarris.com now, just with JoeBiden.com. Anyway, so I understand that, you know, people may be a little bit apprehensive about going there and reading it. It's a lot, but we want details. You want specifics, and this is what them folk, you know, with the letters and alphabet folk, been asking for: specifics, tangibles, details, and that. Well, you got that here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do a series of videos just breaking it down in layman's terms, what this entire policy means for us. And hopefully, you know, maybe that helps get the message across. But yeah, please take the time. JoeBiden.com, Lift Every Voice, check it out. This is really, really good stuff. 70%, like maybe 70% of what's in that Black contract that you're seeing certain celebrities putting out there is literally addressed in Lift Every Voice, and of course in the Justice and Policing Act as well. So go ahead and check that out. That's all I got to say about that.
Even though Black contract is lacking a few things when it comes to Black women.
Yeah, and I think at a certain point, if you claim to care about issues, then it's not a matter of asking questions, it's a matter of seeking the answers, as both Kenny and Drew have pointed out. And so it's irresponsible to ask a question that you haven't sought the answer to as though the question has a negative answer. I mean, I saw Waka Flocka, for instance, posted, are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris going to do anything about police who brutalize Black people? No, actually, the answer to that is yes, as Sydney outlined. And so a lot of people, because people mistake their ignorance for an absence of information. The information is there, you're just ignorant, you're just lazy. It hasn't shown up in a meme in your timeline. And so I understand that, you know, people have different levels of engagement, and people, you know, want the answers to fall in their lap, but it's very irresponsible if you're one of those let the answers fall from the sky people to say things that are just flat out inaccurate. That is a form of voter suppression. Your stupidity is voter suppression. So if you want to have the answers are there, JoeBiden.com. If you want to go to, to something that's nonpartisan, then go on ahead and seek out nonpartisan sources that track these kinds of things. And you can find information that presents both sides if that's what you want to do. If you care, then seek out the information. If you care, then follow people that are talking about these issues. If you don't follow people, if your timeline is curated such that you don't see anybody that supports Biden and Harris, or you don't see anybody that talks about politics, Tim Perry, for instance, is a great person who works the beat of the campaign following Kamala Harris. There are all these journalists that are embedded on the campaign. Follow them, and and just let it seep into your mind by curating your timeline to include these different perspectives and to include the information, instead of having your timeline be curated such that it's only people that agree with you who don't know shit. That's not really going to be productive for you. But exactly. I don't know if we're going to wrap this up, but if we are, I just want to say that Sunday there is a K-Hive event, and I'm posting it in the comments. It is happening at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's with Maya Harris, the great Kamala Harris's sister. I hate to introduce her that way because she is a powerhouse in her own right, and I will have a much better introduction for her on Sunday, trust me. But she is hosting. She's part of a rally with the California Lieutenant Governor. We will be on the call on the Zoom, so please register. You have to register to get the link for that. Let's have a show of force for Kamala. Of course, it's the Biden-Harris ticket, but we also want to make sure that we are showing the Biden campaign that the K-Hive is still here, still strong, still activated. There's going to be a lot of good information. Anatole will be on there. I know we all know and love Anatole providing information about how to get involved. If you want to be involved, make sure that you take the steps. And this is the way the information can just fall into your lap. All you gotta do is show up. So I put the link in the chat. You can also go to joebiden.com. The name of the event is Join Maya Harris with other special guests, warriors for Biden-Harris. It's Sunday, the 13th, 4 to 5:30 p.m. So check that out, sign up. And at a minimum, you can hang out with some other K-Hive folks for an hour on a Sunday. Can't beat that, right?
And all of us are going to be there for the most part, I think. I think everybody said we're going to show up, right? But I just want to end on this note, just to kind of end where you were saying, Reese, about, getting information. See, the thing is, and I want to be very clear about this. When you see a Joe Biden and you see a Kamala Harris pop up on your timeline with a pop star or a pop icon that you guys like, what they're doing is not pandering. It's called voter outreach, because you won't go on their website or look up these policies. So they have to meet you where you are. It's not pandering. It's called voter outreach. They're not out here rapping. They're not dancing or doing anything else. They're just coming to talk to you about the policies that you say that they don't have. So don't get mad when we show up in your spaces, because you keep asking for it, and we're going to give it to you.
Right. Kamala's going to be on Deceased and Merrill's, right? I mean, I don't remember what the day is for that, but that's cool. But also remember to positively interact with these things. I haven't said that in a while, but when you see tweets, videos, share them, like them, retweet them, leave an emoji. If you don't leave if at a minimum, leave an emoji, because the way that these things are set up, they have bots and inauthentic accounts, or just psychos who don't have shit better to do with their time, that show up on these comments, on these tweets, or whether it's Instagram or wherever, to negatively interact with the content. And so it's not authentic because they're programmed to do that. So we who are authentically interacting with it, we have to make the effort to counter that. And it's very simple. Shout out to Hillary. Millennial says my fundraising page for Biden-Harris is at 140,000 today. Thanks, K-Hive. I've been trying to raise money, but listen, the link that I got is too damn high. Ain't nobody trying to sit up there and fool with my little link. So I guess
but they said Rita gonna get us some real money. Let's give her that big old
link. I told them I need a $25 link. I don't know who the hell you think is following me. Just $250 is not gonna do nothing. But shout out to millennials.
You might be drinking that manifest water. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
manifest that.
I manifest a $20 link. Okay, that's for my. I think I have bigger priorities than manifesting a $25 link. But yeah, I'll add it in there.
Did we talk about how much they raised in August alone? $364 million.
That's insane.
That's insane, bro.
People don't even make that in an entire campaign. They make that in less than a month, you guys.
And then they said, and I thought somebody said we wasn't enthusiastic though.
What?
Yeah. Money talks.
I thought somebody that lost the primary twice said we wasn't enthusiastic.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, I put our money where our mouth is. We said we would.
Okay.
Right.
Donated when
I thought a two-time primary loser said something. I was just,
And that's the thing, Sydney, you're so right. The enthusiasm is there. All the empirical evidence is there. Okay. So anybody who tries to have these anecdotes, oh, well, I talked to this person, they don't like Kamala. Okay, that's fine.
One person.
But the bottom line is that you have all of the data that supports her. And if you don't believe in polling, you got the fundraising amount. Okay. If you don't believe in that, you got the Kamala going viral and Chuck's being on back order now from walking off a plane. And so all the evidence is there. The problem is not a matter of enthusiasm. The problem is not a matter of voter preferences. The problem is a matter of voter suppression and voting, people actually voting. That is the problem we need to address. And so just always keep that understanding there and press forward, talk to people in real life, phone bank, text bank, volunteer, whatever it is that you can do.
Absentee, mail in, or show up at the polls.
Early voting.
Do this. Early voting. If they let you,
yeah.
No, it's simple. Make sure that you pretty much just do early voting. Don't wait for the last minute. Just don't. It just doesn't make any sense. Just I want to be there on the day. Okay, be there on the day. You hand out water like I'm going to.
Okay.
But early vote, child. And if you really want to make sure that we win, literally, I'm going to be buying chairs and stuff like that. I'm going to actually come out my pocket. I'm going to try to make sure I give it to the elderly people. I'm going to hand out masks. I mean, if you really care, if you say you care, do something. You got to be involved. You just can't just run your mouth,
Exactly.
But I think that's a good way to end the night. It was fun with you guys. Another episode of Live with the K-Hive. We back. I'll see you guys next week.
As always.
Bye, y'all.
All right.